Well, first time on the dial, second time on the pin.
Should we do
Took 2 pins.
Call the meeting to order at 12:05. Mary Jo may dial, but will not be present.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mary Jo, you on the phone?
Yeah.
When we do that, we set up. Can you be agenda?
And Suzanne will be doing minutes from the recording.
Okay.
Oh, great, okay.
So, or say your name.
Did everyone get that? If you talk today, can you just say your name before you speak? Like, this is Jen, because Suzanne is going to do our minutes, but she's going to do them from the phone recording. And it's hard to tell which one of our lovely voices is on. Right.
Great.
Okay. So our first is the approval of the minutes from the March 23rd, 2022 meeting.
I'm ready to make a motion that we approve them.
And I'll second them.
So that-
Reverse.
Yep. Bill and Dave on those motions to approve. Any discussion on those?
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And no. Okay, the minutes are approved.
Okay. Who wants to do the status of the funding applications?
I will.
All right.
Go for it.
Okay, so,
Mary Seidner speaking.
yes, Mary Seidner is speaking. Thank you. Okay, so I sent out earlier today and have copies here of the 2 applications, and hopefully they're most close to final form. They are now saved as PDFs that are fillable, so changes can be made to them, but not giant ones. Trying to be consistent between the 2 applications, what I recommend is that we have a link to both of them from our ARPA page on the website with a very brief instruction saying, you may print this or save it to your computer, basically. Okay, and then I don't know if we want to put the statement about where questions should be directed under each link. Maybe we should, because they're different on each application. So it's possible to click through here. I've clicked a lot to make sure that they all work, but sometimes the fillable PDF is tricky, so let me know if you see anything that doesn't work. Changes that we haven't discussed that were put in here through some conversations that the application subcommittee had were both applications are asking businesses and nonprofit organizations for their tax ID number. We hadn't done that before. Okay. Both applications are asking small businesses to provide documentation to upload at the end. There's an application checklist at the end of each one. So small businesses must provide evidence of incorporation. Nonprofits must provide their IRS tax determination letter, which is a very common thing for nonprofits to provide. So that should be easy. I did speak with Cheryl, having a little trouble with the signature box on both of them, so I'm going to do a little work on that. It'd be nice to have the opportunity for an electronic signature for the electronic applications, but we'll still refine that.
It did ask me if I wanted to create an electronic signature.
Which you,
okay.
Yeah. I chose not to because it wasn't the official form, and I didn't want it appropriate.
Okay.
So it did ask me that.
That's what it's supposed to do.
okay.
Yeah.
On the computer, I use the town computer.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep playing with that.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Grammar. Community Initiative Grant Application. Paragraph from the bottom about the town of Woodlawn. Should it be Board of Selectmen who will decide or which will decide? Okay. Page 1.
That too, Martha. I did too, because I changed it from
It brought
which.
my attention.
Where are you?
I'm on page 1 of the Community Initiative Grant.
Right? Okay.
Second to last paragraph.
Second to last paragraph, sorry, where it starts,
Underlined.
the underlined
How
part.
about this one?
The board is not a who, though, right? The board is a which.
The selectmen or who?
It's a collective group of people. It's a board.
The board,
What if it said, though-
ARPC is not who.
I think the which is correct, but we could also change it so we didn't have to.
Maybe we could just put a period there and say, the board.
Absolutely.
The Board of Selectmen will decide and repeat ourselves. I think a board is not a host.
What if we changed it and just said, recommendations to the Board of Selectmen, don't write anything until I finish this because it may not be good. This is Martha, by the way. Board of Selectmen for their final approval of all.
that's good.
Yep.
But it's final approval.
Just put a period.
That's what
We need to rewrite that. Just say, for the final approval.
For the final approval.
Yeah.
Well, all right, now can we add one more thing, because does it have to go to town meeting after that?
I don't think we have to add that in this.
Okay, fine.
Even if that,
That's up to.
Okay.
that's from there on.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to read, recommendations to the Board of Selectmen for final approval, period?
Period.
I like
Okay.
it. Simple.
Period, I like it.
Good solution.
I also want to suggest on this one, as well as the press release, and this is having just talked to Rick, this is Cheryl speaking, that we create for Rick a Gmail account so that if he is out of town or something, he can choose to have someone back that up for him rather than his personal email. And that's okay with you, Rick?
It's great with me.
Okay.
Just so you know, my plan would be that I would monitor, even if I am out of town for 4 days during that time period, I would monitor it.
Kind of alert us.
Yeah, but setting up a Gmail account would be great.
Okay,
Can somebody do that?
I can do that.
They're the best.
On
I just have
the,
to know how to access it.
on the Community Initiative Grant application, do you want to add that Gmail account here, or instead of your business?
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that today, Mary,
Okay,
and give you
so,
that.
on page 2 of the Community Initiative Grant, very in the bottom where Rick's contact information is, we'll update that. Just above that, it says application review and award schedule can be found at a clickable link, which is the ARPA page. So that we had originally in the draft for this application, a whole schedule of all the different deadlines and dates. And I think it just is confusing, not necessary. This way we can put it on, so we have to do that, Jen.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just put oldlyme-ct.gov/American Rescue Plan Committee, and then when we have it, we'll put it up there.
Right.
So we need to pull it out from the other application.
Right, but that's what I said, that's where it's available.
And we need to know from Nicole, what is a realistic release date for checks for these community initiatives? Because people are going to plan their initiatives around when it would be funded.
Right, we need to know when funding starts. What if an organization is creating a summer program? Will they have the funds? You know, when will they have the funds? So I do think it would be helpful to get from Nicole a date that funding will start to trickle out. Okay, but that can be again on the website, not in the application.
But wouldn't that, I mean, we've got, once we know the application dates, what are we saying? We're saying that...
Well, the date, we're gonna make our final recommendations to the Board of Selectmen, and then they're going to approve it.
And
And
then-
then when does the check get cut, is my question.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and that should be on this list of dates, once we confirm it with Nicole.
Okay.
And Jim.
And, well, yes, Tim. So. Any other comments, edits, or questions on this?
Yes, moving forward.
Yeah.
On page 3.
Which one?
Community initiative. I just thought that might be, as in the other, economic recovery eligibility is up front. That first numbered list seems like a mix of requirements and eligibility. Can we?
We could just change the heading to say eligibility and requirements.
Sure.
And then, instead of moving,
Yeah, because it seems like the top ones are
it's mixed, you're right.
requirements, and then the other, yeah, fine. If you don't want to make 2 sections, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
And this includes all of the feedback from the lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
It does. It
It
did.
includes Rick's version that included feedback
Okay.
from the lawyer.
Great.
Okay.
A layman's interpretation of, there was only like 4
Yeah.
or 5 bullet points
Right.
that we got back. This is Rick speaking.
Okay.
I think these look fantastic.
Yeah, really good job, Mary.
Well, kudos to Mary.
Absolutely, the work is just tremendous.
Yes, it is.
So when's
When's live?
live?
We want it to be April 1st, Friday.
Yes.
I can make these changes
Where are we
tomorrow
with
and get them
postcards?
to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's next on the agenda.
Oh, I didn't see that on the agenda.
I mean, I'm happy to answer
I see
it
it.
now, but,
No, that's fine.
I mean, everybody has really.
April 1st?
I mean, you really have done
yeah, Mary,
yeoman's work on.
Mary at night.
Thank you.
Yes, she did. In the midst of other busyness, job.
Your day job.
Yeah, your day job.
Okay, so moving on to our, so we don't have to do any motions, we're good, because we've already approved, I think we're good. Okay, so pleased to announce that we have a contract. And Tim has a copy on his desk, all signed, delivered yesterday, and delivered to my mailbox, and we are good to go. So George is just waiting for those first apps to come in.
Great. Thank you, Martha. Work on that.
No problem, and thank you to Phil for being my second set of eyes, because I just like 2 sets of town hall eyes on things like that. Thank you.
The dollar value on that small business and nonprofit, that's still 10,000?
Yeah, it's right in the,
For economic loss.
right,
For
Yeah,
economic law,
Yeah.
economic recovery grant.
Yep,
So again, that would not be
applicable to the,
stretchers or,
what if a nonprofit wants to do,
They can do both.
okay,
yep,
A
Just
nonprofit can demonstrate
separate needs.
loss and can come up with a creative project for the community.
okay.
Oh, another thing I wanted just to mention on the application really quick, on the community
this
initiative.
is Mary speaking.
Yes, Mary again. On the community initiative grant application, if you go to page 4, we have our 11 categories. And instead of, the original draft just had basically a 1 or a 2 word description, but we decided to expand those because it better represents what people voted on and how it's taken directly from the survey wording of the 11 categories.
I have to be honest with you, the first time I read it, I scratched my head a little bit, and then I reread it, and I thought you did a great job.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about it was starting to get wordy and
Yeah.
in the process, but when I read it the second time, it kind of
Well,
drills right into
You know,
each category.
for example, you know, number 2, assistance to it just said nonprofit organizations before. Well, that is not an accurate portrayal of what that bullet was.
Right.
Yep.
You know, nonprofit organizations that provided relief to Old Lyme residents
Yes.
during the pandemic. That's a big difference.
Yeah,
So,
correct, and if Phil speaking, that was a big difference when I kind of went back and rethought about it, because you tell them to check all that apply.
right. And some may hit several buttons, you know.
And this
right.
is just a guide for the reviewers, right? This is not.
Right, it's just a way for us to divvy up the review of the applications, which, is that on the, no, that is something we need to add to the
What's that?
agenda, is
I
the
would-
review process
Yep.
of the application.
Tom, that will have to be something that we should put on for next week,
Process of application.
is what is our process of the review for the community
business.
initiative grant?
Okay.
And Mary, I think there's a word missing on the header of that last bulleted number list. Please check the category below that, that's the part.
Okay, thank you.
Should be plural.
Or is it which?
Which?
Just check all that apply.
Because you want more than one if it is more than one.
So it should be
Right.
category with the apostrophe, IES.
So how about please check all categories below? That apply? Okay.
Plural. We don't need the
No, parentheses.
parentheses, yeah.
Okay. Please check all categories below that apply to your application. Then we can get rid of please check all that apply. Okay.
Yep, okay.
And just a comment on the economic recovery grant application while we're still here for a second. I did take the time to fill it out as a random organization and found that everything worked and did what it was supposed to do. I didn't find any glitches, and it was relatively straightforward. I tried to fill it out as someone who was not sat on this committee for 12 weeks before, and it works. I think it'll work very well. It's been more than that.
12 months?
November something, or October.
First.
November 6th?
October.
This is Jennifer. Mary, if we, like the first selectman puts a letter out every Friday afternoon. So if we can get some verbiage and get the link.
Yeah,
I think that's
I'm
part of the
covering
outreach
that,
plan.
yeah.
Yep.
The outreach plan,
Yep.
yeah,
All right,
definitely. It
thanks,
should be
Cheryl.
included every week.
Yeah, I agree.
Cheryl, would you like to update us on outreach?
Yes, I have two things that I emailed you all probably 30 minutes ago.
A lot of sort of data dump.
Didn't read it yet.
The data dump about an hour before this.
As I raced out my house. One is a postcard. This is not the actual size. This is 6, I don't know why it printed out this way, but it's 6 tall, 9 inches wide, a 6x9 postcard.
Okay.
Nicole and I have the final pricing from Pages to print, just as they did last time, but this is a larger postcard. Print this and mail it for us to Old Lyme and South Lyme. He is on standby. He knows once I have the final okay on the postcard, I'm sending it to him. He's going to print it and turn it around and get it out. So I could see it in mailboxes Monday.
Wow.
I mean, he's very quick if it's a slow month for him. Not slow, but manageable month for him. The other thing I sent out was the press release. So I've already given Line a heads up. They're getting something tomorrow or Friday for Friday's newsletter and their, whatever they do, their website. She'll probably also give us an ad on the side, I assume. I've also given Michelle and Tim a heads up for the Friday newsletter that they're getting something. And I think, Jen, between the two of us, Michelle understands this is going on the website, on the homepage and everything. This will also go out to the other news outlets, The Day, Hartford Courant, CT Examiner, and social media. I'll come up with a little graphic. Michelle will send it out as Town of Old Lyme, and then we'll share that to people of Old Lyme and women of Old Lyme and all of that. And then I'll make up a poster, just like we did last time. We'll just photocopy some posters to go up around town. So the press release itself, I also sent out to you. I have in yellow a couple of things. The final step will be a town meeting to approve the spending. I guess I can take that out. And then I also need who I'm quoting. If you don't know the dirty little secret in press relations, public relations, people always write other people's quotes. So I've written the quotes, and we just need either Tom or someone else to be who we're quoting. So, or a,
Should be Tom.
yeah. So you're welcome to polish this, to put it in your own words, but the theme is basically what we're putting out there. One other, oh, go ahead, Mary.
I wrote on that, nonprofit should not be hyphen, should be one.
I know, what are we sticking with
It's
no,
nonprofit or nonprofit organization, but not.
no hyphen, we're doing one word?
One word.
Okay.
And I'll follow that up. I'm looking at the economic recovery grant. So from March 3rd to the end, where it says maximum grant amount is $10,000, I think we might want to consider bolding that up.
What are we talking about?
First, under the economic recovery, back in postcard.
Yeah.
Oh, just write on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is my, I made a little comment.
Oh, okay, there's one, I think, circulating.
Yeah, that was the only thing I saw. It's very good, but other than that.
Okay.
I just thought fold that up so people can see.
Okay.
Because I don't think we'll be able to say, March 3rd, 2021 enough times in this process.
Right.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right, right,
And
I
figure
know,
At
yeah.
least if they see it, you have it positioned right. I think.
Right, yeah. The other thing I think we might want to do is start to accumulate frequently asked questions for the page. There probably aren't frequentty asked questions, but we can make some up to at least get the ball rolling. And then if you're getting questions,
Yeah, so what would your thought be on how is that shared, like on the website?
I think on the website.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I can keep a tally of, this is Rick speaking, I can keep a tally of calls come in on the community initiative, emails come in, if there are any recurring ones. Yeah.
Or if you have a question, this is Jennifer, that you think is relevant to other people that might like to know.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Can George help with FAQs?
Absolutely. Yeah, good point.
For his.
Right.
So do you have it? You have his email, correct? Cheryl?
I do. I just
Insert that. I could do
11:35, so.
You want me to do it? You want me to write it for you?
Either way, I have it in the emails, I think.
All right, I'll let you do it.
Either way, thank you, Martha. Yeah, there are some we can come up with. Why is it March 3rd, 2021? Well, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be one of those questions, so you might as well take your hit right up front, and work your way through it.
Anything else on the outreach plan? Okay, I will.
I was going to say, I'm assuming everybody where they can and to whom they can is going to make this known, you know, in our spheres of influence or connection.
That's why we're here, right?
Right.
I'll walk Paul's Road on the weekend after.
So I'm just imagining like an old vest, pick the trash up on your way,
Say, well, Virginia, sandwich board.
Ask me about it. Can you
Put some dollar signs on it.
Sure.
Do you want to be a spinner too?
Back, I'll be the progressive insurance.
Oh, let me just say this before I forget, and this is Cheryl. I will take edits from all of you by the end, midnight tonight. And then tomorrow I want to get this press release and postcard out. So you have it in an email that I just sent you. So any and all comments by the end of today. Thank you.
Say 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
I'm not looking at it until the morning, so through midnight. All right, Mary works it.
Maybe I'll stay up late tonight.
Any other questions or thoughts on outreach plan?
Great work.
Yeah.
This is a great committee.
It's a great.
It is a great
together.
committee.
It's been a long road.
We work really hard.
Storming, norming, performing, and performing.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right. Board of Finance updates. I don't really think I have anything unless you have a specific question. I don't really think there are any updates from Board of Finance.
That was my question. I just want to make sure that the Board of Finance is comfortable with our updates and whether the group thought we should also provide some sort of written material or just the minutes.
Could
I think the minutes.
we invite someone to join the committee plan meeting? When we saw the East Lyme application, I was interested to notice that on the committee were 2 Board of Finance members, and maybe it would just be helpful to have them come to a committee and meeting and
Particularly once
see
we're
what doing.
reviewing applications.
Yeah. We could send an invitation.
How about if we wait till after let's not do next week, because next week we could have some glitches or issues with the things going out, but maybe the week after we ask them if they'd like to come?
Ask them now for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think that would make sense.
And short of anybody participating or in addition to, I mean, I think the minutes are.
I think the minute, you just send a copy of the minutes.
They should be able to
And
look
if
at the
they
minutes.
don't, they should. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And just invite them to sit in on any meeting they can make.
Okay. So you're going to send minutes to David Kelsey and or Andy Russell or whoever you want to send it to. And then we have public comment. Sorry.
I'm sorry, we don't have new business on here.
No. Did you have something for new?
Well, were we going to talk about reviewing the community initiative grant at all?
The review process.
Review process?
I thought we'd just put that on for next week to make.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Remove that out.
Okay. To that, can you add a rubric, like as part of that conversation?
You mean create a rubric?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Create a process plan and a rubric for the community initiative.
Okay. Thank you. I had missed that.
Where did I see the one that was really straightforward.
I think it was Greenwich.
Greenwich, yeah, I think you and I
East
talked
Line
about
has
that.
one too.
Was it Eastleigh, was it?
Was the red, yellow, was the red, yellow, green one? Where if they fell into a certain category, then they moved on. If they didn't fall into that category, you could take them out of, and it seemed pretty straightforward.
Okay. Can we move on?
Yes.
Okay, so public comment. Does anyone in our audience have any questions or comments? So we can, it'll pick up.
Come on, Alicia.
Alicia's not here. She had to run. I'm Claudia Weicker with the Roger Tory Peterson Estuary Center. And I am confused as to what nonprofits can apply for.
Both.
We are not in a situation where we lost revenue. We lost some revenue, but that does not necessarily apply to our operations and our programs from the pandemic. Instead, we extended ourselves to fill a void through outdoor excursions that people could take and children could take, and expanded webinar service, et cetera, to the public. We did nearly 200 webinars during a 1.5-year long period of the most extreme part of the pandemic, and had thousands of people tune in. But so and as you all know, we have purchased this property down the street, the former VA and are in the process of creating an outdoor sanctuary. We have welcomed the public already. And we have other improvements which relate to our program that are planned. So I'm wondering just what nonprofits can apply for and whether there is a cap.
Can I take a stab at that? So I'm going to be answering questions that come in, and this will be a good kind of way for me to kind of share my general thought process. So there are, and on the application there are listed, there are 4 main categories that ARPA funds are eligible for. That's grammatically incorrect. You understand what I mean?
Thank you.
And the first are government services, which government services could be broadly defined as virtually anything that the town government may elect to authorize spending on. Respond to public health and negative economic impacts of COVID. I think clearly you've just outlined a bullet point, that this bullet point speaks to what you've clearly outlined. And I would imagine if you were making application that you would want to touch base on what your nonprofit has done, what it plans to do to continue to offer that outlet for townspeople. I would also state that you also have a dual benefit of being a driver of tourism and helping small town businesses when people come into the town from tourism. There is not a specific limit on a dollar amount limit on these applications. However, anything that's proposed will need to be outlined and supported with, I wouldn't go as far as to say a business plan, but an itemization of what the proposed expenses are, a timeline of what they would be, and have anything concrete that could be provided as far as supporting evidence, like a quote or whatever the case may be, would be very helpful. Although there's not a dollar limit, the limit to the town is rather modest. So I think that I would imagine that the best applications will come forth, and the funding that is being requested will be able to fully meet what they're looking to accomplish, as opposed to somebody coming and requesting $1 million, and if they don't get $1 million, this application doesn't have any viability. because the likelihood of us being able to approve anything for, virtually half of what we have is not going to be very good.
What if we're requesting something in the way of a match, for instance, because we may have the ability to match funding?
No.
It's not a match. No, it's a straight-out grant.
Straight-out grant. Okay.
And it's a proposed initiative that addresses the negative impact of the pandemic on Old Lyme and/or creates new transformative opportunities for Old Lyme residents. That's question number 2.
Okay.
So that would be the program, but not capital expenses, right?
Right.
For that.
ARPA won't address capital improvements.
Well, that's not necessarily.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay, not necessarily the case. So a capital improvement could be part of something that you're requesting. You'd have to clearly delineate how it would move forward your goal of addressing the impact that we felt with COVID.
Okay.
Right, and I think that one of the things, and I'll use, I'm Phil Parkek speaking, by the way. I'm the Lions Club car guy, for instance. We did not go in there in October.
I know, you're welcome.
Because of COVID.
I know.
And so, I mean, there are probably other programs that you were going to put on that you couldn't put on or had to put on by Zoom or do something else. Those you should document.
Okay.
Well, that's for economic.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so our in-person teaching, which did not take place, was converted. I mean, we even conducted a Zoom camp.
So you will have 2 opportunities.
Right.
You could apply under the community initiative, which would be more along the lines of what you just spoke about.
Initiative.
Great.
So we would like to request X dollars to help us make the grounds more user-friendly and attract more tourists.
Transition from Zoom to attendance.
And then secondly, or that.
Yeah.
And then if you had incurred expenses or did not receive benefit from some fundraising, say somebody didn't rent out your facility during the prescribed period, that could also be applied for under the economic loss. There is a limit of $10,000. Okay. So it's very viable that a nonprofit or a business could have 2 justifiable needs that they apply for. There's no guarantee that any of them will be approved, but it's very possible that both could be.
And economic recovery is a narrow range of dates, too.
Yes.
Right.
But Claudia, the economic recovery grant application, there's a question in there about fundraising. And there possibly, even though you didn't run some programs the way you normally would, maybe your annual fundraiser was canceled and you missed out on raising those funds. So that would be considered an economic.
Or you had to buy PPE.
Right,
or
right.
something to help
So
testing
2
kits.
applications for 2 different purposes.
Yes.
One's initiative, one's economic loss.
Right.
All right. Okay.
And those applications you have in your hand
They're
are
draft. They're draft.
So,
Right, I'm going to leave it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to leave it. Just make people, I understand.
But I have this draft.
Yeah.
I understand. And I guess the last question, because I didn't really hear, when is this going to be finalized?
April 1st, we're going live.
Friday.
And the deadline
Right.
is April
The
30th.
deadline's April 30th.
We
Okay.
have a month.
All right.
And then the check's in the mail after that.
I hope so.
Whenever that is.
Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, just hearing those questions makes me wonder, these 2 applications look so similar. Possibly in the top right corner, we should have something like CI and, ER.
For office use only, that?
Yeah, that's what it is, to indicate, like in bold, to kind of indicate to us, like the difference between the 2 applications.
I would spell it out, which I know is more
Yeah.
obviously, but like maybe a banner across the corner, economic
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But I'd like them to look there has to be some way to look different. Right now, they look like twins.
I just think if we just did a little box, it's just for office use. It could even say for office use only. It just has to be like capital ER, office use
That's what I was
only.
thinking.
Make one red and one blue.
And see, well,
Yeah, but they're going to print out plaques. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
Like my printer.
I think, yeah.
if they print them, if they PDF them, they'll pick the color. It depends what they do.
We'll just put something there.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Different.
Any other public comment questions? Yes.
Yeah, so I have submitted a what appears to be now a community initiative, and that would be a separate, so I just have a couple of quick questions. So that doesn't have a $10,000 limit on it?
Correct.
Correct.
And then those applications are not reviewed by the private consultants?
Correct.
Those are
Correct.
reviewed by this board separately?
Yes.
Committee,
Sure, committee.
yes.
Okay.
But when you say that you submitted already, you're talking about the Google form, I
He
think?
submitted a letter.
Yeah.
A hand
The letter,
So
okay.
you're gonna fill out the new application.
Of a,
Yeah.
an outline of
Yes.
my
Yep.
initiative was.
So Lenny, you're gonna watch April 1st for it to come out on the website, print that out, or do it PDF, whatever.
Yeah.
Check the list of the things you need to also include. There's gonna be, you know, what's on there, Mary? Like estimate of cost, things like
Yeah, a
that.
full application.
And then you get it turned around before April 30th.
That's a good point, though, that other organizations that have made inquiries in advance we should reach out to them and explain the process.
Right.
Right.
The application is now live.
Right.
Now you can submit your
You
application.
submitted
You gave it to us in
information.
September, and now we're ready to
And I would
take your
be
application.
careful how I worded that. We received information, you showed interest on this date in your letter. The application is now live. Please revisit.
We don't want to call what they provided us before an
Right,
application.
because that would
Absolutely.
get,
Okay.
you know.
Because it
a little
was.
sketchy, you know.
I'll go back to the Google
If that was filled, by the way, it's right.
spreadsheet.
Okay.
So in general, is that
Thank you.
approach acceptable? That I
Yes.
responded?
Yeah.
Lenny, I'm sorry, did you have more? I'm sorry.
No, I was.
Didn't mean to cut you off.
While you guys are talking about, making the community there, reaching out to everyone, et cetera, food and beverage business was the hardest hit. And if there was a fast track of an application or funding that could reach 20, 30, 40 different businesses in town, that would be a huge outreach to make everyone aware that, hey, we just funded this
Yeah.
program in the sector of food and beverage. Anyone else who has a business or community initiative could apply for something.
The only issue with that is we need to evaluate, that's why we have a short window, a 30-day window. We need to evaluate what the total community requests are, because we're going to use the survey that we received to inform.
Non-economic recovery.
Yeah, we
Yeah, but what I can
You're
do-
not talking about economic
Yeah.
recovery.
But
Irrespective, we can't make the decision beforehand because we don't know what the economic recovery total is going to consume of the total.
Like my business suffered economic losses, but I'm not as much focused on that as I am the community development.
The project.
I had a small, blip of $2,300 or $2,400, something like that, out of my specific business, but it would basically be, giving each business support in that range of $2,000 each for the specific initiative.
Right,
So,
but it still needs to be.
so unfortunately, as far as fast tracking,
Right.
because of the fact that we have to go to town meeting with the overall, not so much the individuals, but we're going to say, we need this much for economic recovery, we need this for community initiative, and we might break the community initiative into pockets of what they're going to cover. But it costs a lot of money to go to town meeting because you have to do all the postings and the legal standpoint. So they have asked us to try to request, well, not one, but let's try to keep it to two. So we do have a town meeting on May 16th. I don't think we're going to be ready then, but who knows? I mean, we may. I mean, George may have all of his economic recovery done by then. Stuff done. We just don't know.
George is the consultant.
Who's doing the economic recovery for us, because there's a lot more personal information in that, and we felt that we needed it to be unbiased.
Right, and I think that's part of the learning curve is, the change from the beginning of following the committee's agendas and, progress to now is kind of just understanding that all. But I appreciate, your time answering my question.
Yeah, and if you have any more, you can call Rick or you can call George. Are we good?
Yes.
Anything else for the next agenda?
What does rubric mean?
Oh, I can explain that. I was an educator.
I've got one at home.
Your kids.
It's like a score sheet with
It's a
weighted. Yeah.
And we set it up and say, you're a 1, 2, or a 3 in this area, 1, 2, 3 here, and then let's say the way we do it, if you score in the 7 to 9 range, you're at a high input of getting, and where the 1s and the 2s or the 0s are not going to probably get any money.
You're below the median, so.
Do you remember a critical path chart from engineering? Yeah, it's like it's a revised, it's a modified way of doing a critical path.
Exactly.
So I think based on both the people who gave public comment today, there's already confusion about the 2 grants. So
Yeah.
I think we need to be so clear on the website and in the FAQs that there's 2 grants. Grant
Right.
1 and grant 2, and what the.
And we need to,
Yeah.
Phil speaking, when we put them up on the website, it needs to be
Very
25 words or less, very
Oh,
concise.
absolutely. Absolutely,
And
but-
cleaves them off.
Right.
Very clearly so that someone can look at them and say,
Okay.
1, yes, both,
And
no.
organizations may apply in both both
Yep.
applications.
Yep.
So, okay.
Now, as these come in, can we log them? So we have, as we go through April, sort of a running total of this is how many applications, this is how much money's been asked for? Because we don't want to wait and do that on the 30th.
I think George was going to review these as they came, or piles of them.
Yeah, it was going to like 10 to 15.
Then you get 10 to 15, you send them, I start to review them.
But they're all going to come in, I mean, are we assuming the majority are coming in electronically? They're going to get emailed to us?
Probably.
Probably. Maybe like 80-20, 20% will be hand-delivered.
Right.
So they're all coming into that one email, which I'll be checking. So I can certainly keep a running total and then forward them off. They either go here or they go there. They go to George or they wait.
Because if we get to like 2 weeks in and we're very anemic on applications, then we probably need to do more outreach and say, beat the drum, you're running out of time, guys.
Yeah.
Whereas if we're flooded and we got 5 million applications, we don't want to do.
So am I correct in understanding that we might be reviewing before all the applications for April 3rd?
No, I don't think reviewing. Maybe just, he's just talking about logging them and looking at the number.
Fine, okay, got it.
Just keeping a running total of how many of each application.
Got it, okay.
And then deciding which night we need bottles of coffee and
Bottles of coffee.
11,000 pieces.
The other thing, I'm sorry, I want to go back also to the outreach, and I keep coming back to this, the town department heads and the boards and commissions also need outreach.
So
I can help with that, and
I already have the board and commission emails all pulled together
Okay, good.
for them, so I can send them an email.
yeah, and Michelle keeps the current information if anything's changed between now and then, probably not much, but it just needs to go to the heads.
Yeah.
Because they need ASAP too, like you've mentioned. You can one yourself.
anything else?
I make a motion, we adjourn. Phil?
Second, Martha?
All in favor?
Aye.
This is the shortest meeting.
I know.
We're out.
Meeting